That's a bit too high, bit too high. That is too low. That is perfect.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Chain of Commander, your source for general chit chat on the Commander format. I'm your Commander-in-Chief, Billy G here, back with a new list, this time 5 things you can do to power down your EDH deck. Now before we get going, if you end up liking this list and the things I'm saying, definitely consider subscribing. I say things in all my videos and probably be worth checking them out. Now, what are some reasons somebody would want to power down their EDH deck? Well, a lot of the feel bads that occur in EDH are a direct result of power discrepancies between decks within a pod. One player just rolls over everybody else because their deck is far away and a lot better. So 3 people who get rolled over, they don't have time to do what they want to do with their deck, so they don't have fun. The person doing the rolling over, I mean, sure, it's great to see your deck do what you want it to do, but you're not getting a challenge, so it's not like you earned the win. So you're probably not having fun. Nobody has fun in that situation. But if that powerful player and their powerful deck were to be toned down a notch, so that all 4 decks in the pod are much closer and can have more time to interact with each other, everybody can have a good time. So what's the first thing you could do to power down your EDH deck? Well, the first thing I would recommend doing is taking out the fast mana rocks. These are any mana rocks that tap for more mana than they cost the turn they come down. So these include things like your mana crypts, your mana vaults, your chrome mox, your mox diamonds, and yes, even your precious soul ring counts in this category. These are cards that just lead to those super explosive starts where people are doing 4, 5, and 6 turn mana worth of stuff within the first couple turns. And if you get off to those quick starts, it's very difficult for other decks to keep up with you. And these cards, they're not cheap cards these days. Mana Crypt, Mox Diamond, Chrome Mox, they're all very expensive cost-wise. So you're not going to see them in an average player's deck at an FNM. So just having access to those cards puts you already in such a much more powerful position and more likely to just roll over the table. So you could take those particular mana rocks out, replace them with something a little bit more fair. Maybe something like the Signets or the Talismans, stuff like that. Mana rocks that you'd be more apt to see in a casual player's deck than something pushing an EDH level there. The second thing I have for you, kind of referencing back to a video I released a little bit over a week ago where I tried to take the wide array of EDH mana base, the whole spectrum, and divide it into 5 neat categories. It didn't really go well. That needs a little bit more refining, but the general idea is still there. Weaken your mana base. You have a mana base filled with fetch lands, filled with fetchable duels. You are guaranteed to get your colors on curve when you need it. That is a luxury. A lot of decks out there don't have that luxury. If you're playing against somebody with the precons have like 4 to 5 just general tap lands that come inside them. And every turn your opponent plays a tap land, you're playing an untapped land, you are getting ahead. So maybe not as fast on the start as getting a turn 1 mana crypt, but still you are at a much quicker start than the rest of the table. Once again, putting you in a position that they cannot catch up with. So you can kind of take what I would recommend here. The easiest thing to do is just take out the fetch lands, replace them with those general tap lands, and no longer is your mana base playing to your speed, but you are now playing to the speed of your mana base. The rest of the deck can remain completely unchanged, but now that you're being kept in check by your own mana base, the table can play more fairly and amongst each other. The third thing, I do 3s like this. Not like this hurts. Ow. The third thing I have is play the fixed version of cards. Wizards in their history has reprinted things that end up being supreme powerhouses in EDH. Things like Cyclonic Rift and Crater Hoof Behemoth. Things that are the epitome of their effect on a card. Now, Wizards likes these effects, but they don't like them to that strength level, so quite often they print a fixed version of them into Standard. Consider playing those instead. So instead of Cyclonic Rift, try playing something like Evacuation. No longer are you able to bounce everybody's everything non-land at instant speed. Now you're bouncing everybody, including your own creatures, at sorcery speed. So it's still a mono blue board clear for the intents and purposes of being a board clear, but not to the powerhouse level that is Cyclonic Rift. Same thing with Crater Hoof Behemoth. You can get something like Maze and Forerunners, which doesn't buff the team by as much. Can still get in for a chunk of damage, but is not that soul-crushing, table-wiping, bajillion buff that Boofy Boy doesn't be doing. Boofers. The fourth thing I have for you here, and this is another callback to one of my previous videos. This is in regards to combos, specifically 2-card combos. Don't play them. 2-card combos are the kind of combos that can win out of nowhere, especially if one of your commanders is half of that combo. When you are playing a game of EDH, you do a lot of work to keep other board states in check. 2-card combos are the kind of thing that can kind of win out of nowhere, especially if sometimes you only really need 1 card to ensure that it occurs. And 2-card combos quite frequently require a very specific form of interaction to stop. And your opponents might not have that specific form of interaction. Things that come to mind in this regard are things like Mikaeus Unhallowed and Triskelion. I see a lot of Reanimator decks being able to dump them both in their graveyard and bring them back all in the same turn and just win the game there. Unless your opponents have specifically Graveyard Hate at that exact moment, which you totally should be playing more Graveyard Hate, they can't interact with that. At least the Field Badge. They could be playing the game so much better than you, but if all their hard work is tossed out a window because you got a little bit lucky, a lot of lucky, it kind of hurts. So, I'm not saying all combos are bad. There's combos out there that require multiple moving pieces, multiple cards to pull off and give your opponents a lot of time to interact and kind of signal that they're occurring. But just being able to go, draw, boop, I win, whoopsies, it's not something you want to be playing against, even if you want to be playing it. All right, the last idea I have for you folks here. This kind of goes to what is EDH? It is a singleton format. It is designed to embrace the deck building creativity and embrace variance when you're playing so that your decks can play out a bit differently each time. Now, there are cards out there that can help eliminate this variance and let you play a more consistent game from game to game. And these are those tutors, the demonic tutors, mystical tutors, stuff like that. But the problem here is that tutors guarantee that you have access to your answers when you need them and access to your threats when you need them, while everybody else who might not have those tutors has to rely on drawing into them or holding them in hand and holding them back. Over the long run, the people who have immediate access to the things they need are always going to beat out the people who need to luck into them. It's just a matter of consistency versus chance. It's not something... I don't know where I'm going with that. It's something that you want to avoid if you're trying to dumb down your deck. Power down. Not even dumb down. Just power it down. Bring it down a level here. So take out the tutors. Maybe rely more on card draw than specifically fetching the cards that you need. It allows the variance in the game to take over. It gives your opponents time to maybe work with their game plans before you have the answer for them. And it allows the game to play at a pace where people start doing things the way they'd like to. Now, obviously, this whole list... it goes completely out the window when everybody at the table would like to power up their decks, try to get closer to the cEDH level. But this is just an idea. If you're going out to your standard F&M, just playing casually, you can do this. You can power down your deck by swapping out 5 to 10 cards at the max. Might as well do it. Just make everybody have a little bit more fun at the table. So, what do you think about this particular topic? Do you think powering your decks is a good idea? Do you like the ways that you do it? How do you go about adjusting the power level of your deck to meet the tables that you're going to? Alternatively, if you think that I'm just pure blaspheming by even insinuating that you should bring your power level down at all, let me know in the comments below. while you're down there, like I said, if you end up liking this video, hit that subscribe button. Definitely want to stick around going forward. Also, if you've been paying attention to my Instagram, you know that there is a relatively big change coming for this channel. So feel free to follow me on there as well to just kind of keep track of that. Also got a Twitter. I'll just pop up the social media handles on an end card in this video. Feel free to check them out. Beyond that, I can just say thank you again for joining me, and I hope to see you all again in the future. Bye-bye now.